the basis of our existence, right, on this planet Earth. And if we have loveful relationships, then it really changes our dynamics, right? Our emotions, our feelings, our um, experience of this world, right? If we are with someone or if we feel loved, then it's a very different experience than feeling something else. So we thought we'll explore today how we can come into that state of feeling loved. Hmm? And so it is important for us to understand what is it that makes us feel loved at presently. Maybe we all can reflect a little bit, even online, if you would like to share on chat or come into sound is also fine. Just take a couple of minutes to think what are the things that makes you feel loved. And maybe they can have a mic if they want to share. Anybody is ready can go first. Somebody is writing something.
Yes,
There is a vibe almost unexplainable. Yes.
for me, it is deep understanding,
Yeah.
caring,
Caring.
gentleness.
Yes.
Unconditionally. It is not based on conditions.
Conditions. Yeah. And then being heard and understood. Yes, that too. Yeah.
Tenderness, sensitivity.
Yes, tenderness, sensitivity.
It's to wake up in the divine.
Wake up in the
In the
divine.
divine.
That is the ultimate state that we would like to be in. Yeah, so being loved, right? And in most of the sharings that you all did, somehow we are sort of looking for love outside, isn't it? Right? And really, if we look at the spiritual wisdom, then that looking for love outside comes from the fact that there is some emptiness that we are feeling inside, right? And uh, that may not be the best way to get love, right? So, what we are trying to do with the spiritual understandings is that we are trying to shift our positioning, our inner positioning, so that we don't come for us from a space of neediness and emptiness to get love from outside. But what if there were other option, another position that we could take at an internal level, so that we come from a space of fullness, right? And yes, abundance, yes, abundance and fullness. So so that is what we will see how we can do that. And in order to change our position, first we have to understand where the problem lies, right? And we say falling in love, but really, what should we be saying? If love is such a beautiful feeling, we should be saying rising in love, right? Not falling. Falling is not a good thing. So, how can we rise in love? And that, for that, we have to really shift our inner positioning. So let us look at how we are relating with others currently, and what is the root cause of that fall that we are talking about in falling in love. So I think the board is clear, right, for everyone on Zoom? Yeah. So let's say there are two people. Uh, who should we say? Mother and daughter? Yeah, I think that would be better. Mother and daughter, right? So there is definitely love between the two, right? So now what happens is, say mother wants to cook something, and then she checks the fridge and she says, oh, there is no carrots, I need to make carrots, right? Something with carrots. So she just requests the daughter that can you get some carrots for me, right? Now there is this exchange, right? That the mother is asking the daughter to bring some carrots from the grocery store. Now, the moment this call goes from the mother to the daughter, what happens? Now, as if the remote control is given to somebody else, right? So now, fully, the daughter has the option to either get the carrots. So she can do, right? Or she's unable to do for whatever reason, right? There could be many reasons. So if she does get the carrots and says yes, generally there is, how's the feeling? We feel happy, yeah? And if she says no, then we feel sad. But also, if she does, right, it's not just happiness, but it also impacts our love, right? If she does, we love more. Yeah? If she doesn't do, we love less. Huh? Love starts to shake. Yes, exactly. So that's where we are going. Very good, right? So what is it that is making us oscillate, right? Is shaking, right? Brother Jose says shaking. So expectations. And sometimes the expectations seem very justifiable, right? So sometimes, or most of the times. Yeah. And what expectations do, right? That we are actually becoming beggars. Give me more love. Give me a smile, some acknowledgement. So we are becoming beggars, and somebody else, it could be, just in this example, is a daughter, but it could be anybody, right? We are making them as masters. And is it the best state to be in this world? Beggars? No. Sure. So what should we do? No expectations. How do we do that? Is it possible to live a life without expectations? No expectations. It's hard. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm. No expectations from the daughter. I didn't get your name, please. Nazil. So Nazil here is sharing that she doesn't have any expectations from the daughter. Surrounds you, but your friend is sharing that it's hard to do that. Yeah. So to avoid rejection. Hmm? Yeah, but still, um, we don't want our love to, you know, shake or change based on, even though we may not have expectations, right? So, what is the solution that spirituality is giving us? Hmm? Is there a way to live our lives in an easy manner, right? Not where we are struggling and it feels very difficult and hard, right? As if we are suppressing our expectations, right? Because at some point, then, if we are suppressing and it feels hard, then it may come in a bigger form and at a much later date, right? Or it just results in frustration sometimes, maybe, right? So, how can we make it easy? So, that is something that we can look at. Yes? Should we look at that option? Yeah, so one option is, to see ourselves as travelers. Traveler, when we are referring to the traveler, traveler is a tiny point of light, the living, conscient being who's invisible, right? And the traveler, what does a traveler do? He visits, right? He is visiting, he travels. So, where does he travel? He travels to a physical world, right? This world is a physical world. And the traveler knows then that the physical world is a place of temporary visit. Temporary visit, right? And that nothing belongs to him. Everything has an end here. Yeah, his visit itself has an end. So, in the physical world is our body, our relationships, nature, yeah, objects, car, our hobbies, yeah, everything that you can think of belongs to the physical world, and all of those things are temporary and have an end. Yeah. So with this consciousness of a traveler, what happens is we can live a life of no expectations in an easy manner and have fun, right? So nothing belongs to me, nothing is mine in this physical world. The daughter is not mine, this body itself is not mine. And so this is not me, the real me, right? This body itself is temporary, right? And body has an end. And so the relationships are also temporary, right? In that sense. So the traveler is aware of all of this. And so he doesn't claim anything as mine. He doesn't have expectations and desires. It is only when you try to claim anything and try to say that this is mine, yeah, a sense of ownership comes, sense of possessiveness comes. Then you cling on to that person more and more and more because you feel it is mine. Yeah. So let's take the example of a chair, right? We are using the chair and we know that we will go back. When we go back, we will not be expecting this chair anywhere else, right? And we don't even, first time, you are coming for the first time, you didn't have any thought about whether the chair will be comfortable, not comfortable, what color will it be, right? You just come, you enjoy, you use it for a short period of time, and then you know you have to go home, right? You have other chairs there, right? And which are very comfortable, which is your home. So similarly, the traveler in his visit, because he knows it is temporary and has an end, he can live a life of no expectations in a fun manner. So who has more fun, a traveler or a resident? Like if you are visiting, if somebody is visiting New York City, who has more fun? The traveler. Yeah. This morning there was another discussion going on, and somebody was saying, you know, with the traveler, when we think of ourselves as a traveler, the consciousness is that of curiosity, right? You feel, oh, everything is new, everything is fun, right? And so I always remember the time when I came first to New York City, not very long back, 8-9 years back, and I came to Manhattan first. And of course, I had read about it, heard about it, you know, but when I actually saw it, I was so enthused with even things like, you know, there are manholes here which are fumigated and gas comes out of it, right? So that also was very interesting for me. I was very curious that this is so new, right? And then the subway system, I used to feel that, oh, it is so well connected to so many places, at least in the city, right? That you can just go and explore the city just in such a reasonable way. And another thing, like from on the walk from the train station to here, to the meditation center, we come many times very early in the morning for our class. So on the way, I would see a lot of, you know, people have partied the whole night. and then there are garbage cans full overflowing. And I used to feel, again, I used to feel that, oh, this is so amazing in a way, right? That this is what is happening. There are so many places on the walls, there is graffiti, you know, and even on the subway train, sometimes there are graffitis. And I used to find it very creative and interesting. So, but then when I speak with the friends who are residing in Manhattan, who are residents of Manhattan, they were complaining about these very same things, that, oh, how can it be so dirty here? The streets are full of garbage, there are these gases coming out, it's not. So, and the graffiti and everything. So, this familiarity, right? That is what actually um, sort of brings expectations that the things should remain as it is, right? And this claiming of things and people as mine. So the moment we start to say mine, right, then there is a dependency that is created. Right. So dependency comes, and in the example that we saw of the mother and the daughter, right, expectation is sort of binding her in a bondage, or making her dependent, that her happiness, her love, her peace becomes subservient to the daughter's doing or not doing, right? So that is something that we don't want to be, right? That we are making ourselves so much, sort of coming into that state of neediness from the other. So this dependency, we realize that when we come in the traveler consciousness, that he's independent, right? This tiny point of light, he doesn't have an end, meaning he is immortal. The traveler is immortal, invisible, conscient being, and his existence is not dependent on the body, not dependent on anything in the physical world, right? And hence, that makes him feel very secure. Yeah. And so, when we feel secure, we are able to love unconditionally, selflessly, right? Little children, everybody wants to play with them. Everybody wants to love them. Why? Because of their pureness. Yeah. Innocence. Yeah. And not just human babies, even animal babies, right? Even if it's a small tiger's cub, right? As a baby, the cub, you feel safe, right? Yeah, they don't feel like as a threat, and you feel that they can't harm you, right? Any babies, you feel safe with them, and hence you can love, right? The same cub, when it becomes big and into a ferocious tiger, then you don't feel safe. Then you don't want to love the tiger. The tiger may want to still love you. Yeah, but you don't want to love. So this feeling of security and safety, Hmm? That is sort of makes us love in an unconditional way, in a way that is selfless, authentic, genuine. When we feel secure, because of our immortality, this invisible traveler, that is when we also feel full. Does this invisible traveler, does he need the body for existence? No, right? He is actually living, conscient forever, right? So he's not dependent on anything or anyone, not even the body. Yeah? Doesn't need air to breathe, invisible, non-physical being, right? So when we start to come in this consciousness that we are points of light, and not dependent for anything, then we start to feel full in our truth. And when we start to feel full, then we start to share. Yeah? We are not beggars anymore. We are not coming from the state of emptiness anymore or neediness, but we are coming from state of fullness. When we are feeling full, then that is when we start to share and give. So whether the daughter does or doesn't do, right? We can still make the request of getting the carrots. There is no expectation doesn't mean that you don't interact, right? Interaction, it doesn't shake you, right? In the same conditional emotion condition. So that is something that we can do if we understand that we are not dependent. This invisible being is not dependent. In fact, he is full. So easy to do this. Live a life of no desires and expectations. From the people, no expectations. Mm. Maybe you can take the mic because they
So yeah, like I said, mother's love is unconditional. Is you don't have to expect from your kid like anything. You just love, and that love from, I don't know, the universe gives you that kind of emotions. And like I said, you feel yourself very happy when you are full inside, full of love inside.
Yeah, so it's good to be full always inside. And then the next question is, what do we do to make ourselves full all the time? right? Sometimes we feel okay, full, sometimes we are feeling empty, right? So what do we do? So just few more things, right? There are other uh, things that we call this dependency, right? One is it's like a bondage, and another word we use is attachment. Yeah. So attachment is making ourselves dependent, or coming into a bondage. And attachment is very different from love, right? Attachment is what we saw in the example, right? If she does, if the daughter does, then love and happiness is there. Otherwise, it's gone away, right? And one very funny example I have, there were these friends of mine, they are still friends, and they knew each other from school, all right? From high school they were together, and finally they got, after, I don't know, maybe 15 years or so of knowing each other and being with each other, they finally got married, right? And then within a year, they separated, and the reason was, my friend, she went and painted her hair purple, and this one said that this is not the person I love anymore. So very strange things, right? Because right now our love is dependent on sometimes physical appearance, sometimes the qualities of somebody, right? Or the personality, what we see. What else do we love in other people? So really, all of those things are actually temporary. Real, authentic, genuine love is very different from attachment. It is not dependent on what that person does or doesn't do, right? What the color of the hair is. Yeah. It is the way, yeah, yeah. You accept the person, but then the acceptance comes from strength, right? Not because of the fact that there is no choice, or um, some sort of weakness, right? Sometimes we accept because we feel that there is no other option other than acceptance, right? But if we are accepting because we are looking at what is real, what is imperishable, right? Just like we are travelers, everybody else is also this tiny point of light. And to see them like that, that everything has an end, even that relationship, is temporary, it makes us come to that state of reality for them too. And it is like we are playing temporary roles here, right? Mother is a role, daughter is a role, yeah. Employee is a role, employer is a role, right? Neighbor, nothing is permanent. So we come into that space of my happiness, my love is not dependent anymore, yeah, and that is not at all like how attachment looks. Okay, so that is one thing, and another thing that we can also reflect on is that inner fullness. How does it stay constant? Because that feeling security, feeling that we have everything, That is what will help us not have expectations. So where is our need for love? Where is that being fulfilled from? So that is something that we have to think about more. Because if we are not feeling full, then definitely some point or another, this neediness will definitely come and creep in, or some frustration will come in. So how can we feel full? Hmm? All the time, all the time. Hmm? So instead of looking outside, spiritual wisdom says that look inside. Hmm? Love yourself, right? Yes, have a connection with God, right? So that is something that we can nurture, to have the connection with the source of love. And that source of love is what we call the Supreme Soul, the source of love, the ocean of love, right? We say God is love, but God is also truth. He's full of love, ocean of love. So if we connect through our mind, if we connect with the divine, the Supreme Soul, the ocean of love, then we keep feeling full and loved in a constant manner. Right? And when we feel like that, then our need for love is completely fulfilled. And then we sort of start to love ourselves too. But because sometimes it's difficult to love ourselves also. Does anybody feel like that? Online? I think there was somebody writing something earlier. Yeah, what was that? We can strive for that, thinking in the spiritual essence. Yes, right? So, yes. So, how do we do that? Hmm? The fullness and connecting with the Supreme. Hmm? Hmm? Live in the moment. You know, to look for love in others. Nobody can be available for you 24/7. Can there be anybody? Even your 3 a.m. friend, not all the time. Sometimes they will be busy, they may not be available. Yeah. So to come into a state where you love yourself. S- with yourself. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Brother, can you switch on this also?
I mean, because there are people that like cannot be alone with themselves,
Yes.
and sometimes they start feeling like neediness or anxiety.
Yeah.
And if you start like um, praying, look for connection with the universe, that would help you to be more, to feel yourself more comfortable being with yourself.
Yes. Yeah. The only person who's with us 24/7, 365 days is
It us.
ourselves.
I mean, yes.
We have to
So,
deal with our own minds and our own feelings all the time,
of
right?
course.
If the daughter doesn't fulfill the expectation, it is still temporary, that we feel not so loved and whatever, not so happy. But then, if we feel loved in spite of what the daughter does, right, ourselves, that is what will make us rise in love, right? And that is where this role of the Supreme Being, so who's that Supreme Being, is also a point of light, living, conscient being, invisible being, incorporeal being. And he has a very loving relationship with us. So we use the word souls for the invisible traveler. And so this ocean of love is the Supreme Soul. And through Raj Yoga meditation, right, we learn how to connect with that ocean of love, how to connect with our mind through thoughts to that invisible point of light, the Supreme Soul. And as we, connect with him, be in his company, you don't need to be in the company of someone physically, to feel loved. Somebody may be sitting thousands of miles away, and you may feel loved by that person because you're thinking about them, you know them, right? And you can
care
feel
about them.
Yes, you care about them, you know that they care about you, right? And then if you go to, say, a doctor's appointment, right, and you are sitting in the waiting room waiting for your turn, you are sitting next to a stranger. You physically you are next to that person, but you may not feel love from that person, right? So company is through the mind, through the thoughts, and it takes 1 second to get that company, to feel that. And it's so beautiful that in Raj Yoga meditation we are able to do that in a second. So to feel that love that sort of fills all the holes that are there, that we need love. And what happens when we fill ourselves with that higher love, which is constant, which is pure, which is unconditional, it is also selfless, right? What can this invisible point of light need from us in return? So we are like his children. And so when we connect with him, we experience this higher form of love. And that's when we start to rise in love. And when we feel full and loved, we are able to share that love without expectations in our interactions here in the physical world. Yeah. And because he's the ocean, he's constant, the Supreme Being is always present. You just have to think of him. And he's present. He's also the only one who's dependable. Right? We become dependent on something that is temporary. Right? And then there will be times when we are, feeling loved or not. But he's the one who's constantly dependable. He will never, ever let you down. So when he becomes dependable, he becomes trustworthy, then you feel loved. And because he's our father, he's also very caring, very affectionate. Just like any parent, he understands. Somebody was sharing in the beginning that love means understanding each other, right? So he understands. He doesn't need a communication words to communicate. Yeah. Love is a vibe, somebody said. It's just a feeling that you share, right? So when the child is very small, he will just cry, he can't say anything, but the mother understands what the child needs. Just like that, the Supreme Being is the one who understands. If we connect with him in the same frequency, the frequency has to match, right? We have to be aligned to the same wavelength to catch the signal of love. Yeah. So, this friend of mine who was sharing that when she was a child, she had made an invisible friend to play with. She had developed friendship with an invisible friend to play with. And she says that came from a space of emptiness, right? That something was feeling empty within, and hence she needed a friend to be able to play with, and she made an invisible friend. So she would play cards with that friend, anything, any play, she would have always that friend with her. And that sort of brought her closer to herself, because she started to enjoy her own company, right? When we start to enjoy our own company, when we start to live a life of fullness with no expectations, and we start to be light inside, yeah, not feeling heavy because of no expectations, that is when actually people also want to have our company, right? When we start to enjoy our own company. Nobody wants to be in the company of somebody who's needy, who's complaining, yeah, who's not happy if I do or don't do, right? Somebody who really lets you be free to do what you want to do and yet love you in spite of that. That is the person you want to be in the company of, right? So why not we become that person? And we can become that person if all our needs for love are fulfilled from this Supreme Being, the higher source, the constant ocean of love. Yeah. Then we start to enjoy our own company. And then we'll see how the relationships here change, because whatever we do with love, with genuine love, in an unconditional manner. Whether they do bring the carrots or not bring the carrots, we are able to still love them. So, some food for thought for all of us, and we can have next few minutes if somebody wants to ask anything or share anything. Online you can also unmute or type. I think somebody is writing something. That was eye-opening. Okay. Yeah. This insecurity, it makes us panic, right? And it doesn't let the best of ourselves come. We want to love. Most of the time, we want to love. Yeah. But we feel justified and compelled not to love because of something that someone did. Yeah. So when we come out of that state of insecurity, and insecurity comes from what we call ego, right? This false identity is what we call ego, of who we are. When we start to think of ourselves as this body, in my case, Kanupriya, right? That's when I start to feel, oh, Kanupriya's mother should love her, right? Kanupriya's mother should do this. But when I come into my true state, true identity state, which is as a point of light, I realize that my relationship, eternal relationship, is with the Supreme Soul. And hence I am able to draw that love from the Supreme connection with the Supreme Soul. Yeah. Every ego is insecure. Then we become desperate. When we feel insecure, then we become desperate. We start to cling on to things. Call it mine, mine, mine. So come into that true state, true identity state. That helps us also. Yes, I think there is another comment, brother. I believe that it's great to come in a place of love for yourself. You're already full. Yeah. Feeling full from within. All right, so if there are no questions or comments, then shall we end with 5 minutes of meditation? Okay, so just check our posture. And just as we are checking our physical posture, making sure that we are in the right posture, we also can choose the right posture for the mind, the inner posture, the inner positioning. And that inner positioning starts from the home, the world beyond the physical dimension. In the home, we exist as tiny points of light, as the child of the Supreme Father, the Supreme Soul, who's also a tiny point of light. The home is the region of love. As is the Supreme Being, the ocean of love. We take the company of the Supreme through this one thought, that I am a point of light, the child of Supreme. This love from Supreme is a higher quality of love, the one that is eternal. It never ends. This love is changeless. This constant source of love brings stability in the tiny points experience of love. The Supreme Being is the only one who's dependable. His love is dependable because it is not temporary. It is not changing. And it doesn't have an end. The tiny point immerses himself in this ocean of love and feels full. This constant love makes him feel secure. Love that is not based on give and take. Pure love. It is a love that uplifts. This is the love that is magical. This is the love that makes us rise. Rise in consciousness. Rise to our highest, true, innate state of being. Where we too become loveful. As we start to bring this higher quality of love into our lives, we find that we are able to love others and ourselves more and more. This love makes us see the beauty within and the beauty in others. So let us experience this magic of love through the rest of the evening. This experience is just a thought away, taking the company of the ocean of love. Takes 1 second. Om Shanti. Thank you.